Okay, so I would like to welcome everyone to the webinar by SeaTecHub as part of the Widening Impacts webinar series. This is the first webinar in the fall webinar series, and I will pass the floor to Petra, who will introduce the speaker and the project.
Thank you, Derek. Hello, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining to the kickoff of the presentation of Excellence Hub projects in the Widening Impact Fall webinar series. Today we will hear the presentation of the SeaTecHub project, the Croatia-Cyprus Excellence Hub, on eco-innovative technologies for healthy and productive seas. The project strengthens Croatian and Cypriot innovation ecosystems through cross-border collaborations and focuses on key blue economy sectors. The consortium covers the quadruple helix of researchers, public authorities, business and NGOs, supported by 49 institutions. During this webinar, we'll explore the project's achievements, lessons learned, and future vision, and how the consortium is transforming challenges into the solutions. The session will include approximately 35 minutes of presentation, followed around 50 minutes of questions and answers. I'm pleased to welcome Mr. Ioannis Kyriakides from the Cyprus Marine and Maritime Institute to present the SeaTecHub project. Mr. Kyriakides, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for the introductions and for planning this amazing opportunity for us to disseminate our work, and also for, of course, from hearing from all the work of others on similar concept projects. So this focuses on two widening ecosystems, Cyprus and Croatia, that have much in common. Common things in their strategy, a common sea connecting them. And as we get to know our Croatian partners even more, we realize what are the common challenges and opportunities. The connection with the Croatian partners for me personally was a long time ago when I met people at the University of Zagreb, where we had a common local project that had a foreign research organization. That was many years ago, and it was a small involvement and an understanding that we're interested in the same low-cost technologies that can be adapted widely because of their low cost, they're more approachable and so on. And that relationship evolved even further when the Cyprus Marine and Maritime Institute was created, and I was formally more into this type of maritime projects, but also by winning this project was the establishment of a long-term collaboration, not only with a particular university, but with the whole Croatian ecosystem, as we have seen now, we will see now. And also with the creation of Marble, a center of excellence in Croatia, that is even more strengthened these days. And I will specifically talk about the project, which is not beyond this seed funding that we received through this project. We will create a complete new ecosystem that spans the ecosystems of Croatia and Cyprus related to the blue economy. So the initial group that is part of this project in this consortium are these partners that you see here. We have partners from the quadruple helix across Cyprus and Croatia, and these are all the relevant partners that are necessary to get kick-started with this collaboration and building this joint hub that basically covers some main aspects of the blue economy that is mostly interesting to Cyprus and Croatia based on the smart specializations of the two countries, and you will see these details. And I'll leave this slide a little bit here for you all to see the various governmental organizations, NGOs, universities, research organizations, and companies that have joined us. And again, the focus is on developing technologies and building the whole ecosystem that cultivates that building the potential to build more of those technologies, and also disseminating and increase the adaptation in the industry, but also getting these technologies in the hands of civilians to spread the influence of the understanding that unless we take care of the environment, then we won't have sustainability, economic sustainability, social sustainability, and so on. And to promote that understanding, we have to understand and to see what is happening to the environment. So, for example, some eco-innovative technologies could be low cost, as you will see later, buoys, sensors that any civilian could take out there, get some measurements, and understand what's happening in the environment. And of course, for the civilians, this would be awareness, but also getting again the hands on those technologies on members of the industry, NGOs, governmental organizations. Then you have more data from the sea, more understanding, and then you can build better policies and influence and provide that awareness of what is happening at the environment, and also how to promote it and help the productivity of the seas. So a visualization here, a diagram of what we are working on is this one. We have some pillars that are basically the main objectives in these projects that are common to all excellence hubs: building a joint research innovation strategy and action and investment plans, and also working on research innovation, proof of concepts. And the goal here is not to create products for the market, but to show that we have been able to accelerate the delivery of proof of concepts because we have built a joint strategy. We have understood what we should be working on, and we have a common action, and getting organizations together, filling the gaps, and producing faster and more efficiently and more precisely in terms of what is needed in this proof of concepts. And based on those, also this validation that we are getting that these actions and this strategy works well and can produce faster and better proof of concepts. For example, you can see that this also will push the acceleration of products to the market. But these are only plans, not covered by the scope of this project. But you will see later that I will explain that we have combined already, even during the duration of this project, we have combined activities from many other projects, and I will also invite further collaborations, and some plans for pilots, some proof of concepts have been now and will be used and will be implemented in full through other projects and through clustering of activities. And again, one thing helps the other. Having these devices, having this proof of concepts, having these plans, then you can go out there and educate the public, the citizens, even the younger generation. And also by talking to each other and trying to solve a common problem, creating, for example, a proof of concept, then you understand what skills are lacking and what skills are available in different partners. And this exchange promotes skills development and has a long-term effect of knowing what questions to ask and which partner would be more suitable in a future project and so on. And you will see that we have written with our partners many new proposals and that will take us further and keep this hub alive after the end of the project. This is in combination, of course, with an innovative digital twin that I will describe. And of course, we are working, and it's very important to work on the visibility and the outreach of this, the work that we do, and the hub itself. We want the entire international community to know that this exists. This is a combination of capabilities and opportunities in two widening area ecosystems that now together become a very strong partner in a way that is well sought out in anything related to marine and maritime blue economy sectors. And we now can contribute together in many proposals and so on. When we are invited in a proposal by an international consortium, we always these days also recommend a Croatian partner to join us, and the same happens vice versa. So this is the idea, giving you some solid examples of what we do to continue this collaboration. We invite those that we know well, and now we know the Croatian partners very well. Of course, the same thing could be said by the Croatian side. I'm just speaking from the Cypriot side since I'm the one presenting here. And the blue economy sectors that we are focusing on, we chose to focus on 5 of them because, of course, we had to limit the scope of this proposal based on the level of funding. But on the other hand, these are the most relevant based on the common, the intersection of the smart specializations that we have. Aquaculture and fisheries, smart ports, maritime technology, which is very broad, and maritime security and protection. And of course, the research and education in all matters in the blue economy. So here you can see our objectives, briefly summarized here. The objective is here not to just start a project, use the funding, create a few proof of concepts, but to establish a long-term collaboration that is both cross-border and intersectoral. So the goal here is for this hub to remain and create impact for the many years to come. Therefore, for this, we need a strategy. So, of course, there is a research innovation strategy at CMMI and some research organizations, and in the same for the Croatian organizations. But here we're looking at a research innovation strategy that is on the Cyprus level and Croatia level, but now the joint level. We're creating something that is very new here. Who, other than having the funding provided by this project, will sit down and create a strategy, a joint strategy for the research innovation of 2 countries. So this is an opportunity here, and we have taken this opportunity, and we have identified some strategic areas and objectives that will remain constant with minor modifications, perhaps changing of the weight between different sectors of focus. However, the strategy remains constant over many, many years. But after that, you have on the little bit lower level, the action and investment plans. So a very nice strategy sounds very nice, but unless tried, and to try it, you have to implement it, and you have to have actions, you have some solid steps. So some organizations, perhaps an industry in Cyprus, would like to solve a certain problem pertaining to the industry. They don't know where to start. They don't know if the research has something ready for them to solve the immediate need. The academics and the researchers have trouble understanding the industry. Now, anyone from the industry or academia or NGOs or a concerned citizen has somewhere to go. And they can come to us and we can provide an action plan. So for each of the sectors that we're facing, that we're considering, aquaculture, marine technologies, we have an action plan. Here's how you solve this problem. You start from here and you go there. And along the way, you realize that you need some funding. And of course, many of us researchers, for example, they don't know how to approach investments. They don't know how to talk to a venture capital. Not much in Europe, but at least there are some funding opportunities. There are public funds, of course. Many other people don't know how to write proposals for funding. So this hub also serves again as a big one, showing that there are funding opportunities. You can apply for public funds. You can talk to these specific groups that provide funding for aquaculture. Some venture capital funds are available for agnostic purposes. So you can go to them also with a blue economy-based idea or anything else. So somebody needs to be there to explain how do you go from first step to the last step in order to create some action and solve a specific problem, or to secure an investment. And of course, these two things go hand in hand, but we have created two distinct action and investment plans. However, these, of course, are very complementary. You always need the investment to do an action and so on. You need the right action to get the investment. And further than the action and investment plans, then you have to have specific projects that do the work. And these are the specific projects that receive the funding from the investment. They are the outcome of the action, and many projects together, many outcomes from many projects complete an entire action that is under aquaculture, under marine technologies, and so on. So all of this is a complete plan, and of course it should be tried and tested within the duration of the project, also performing joint research innovation work. But what happens after the project finishes? There is a lot of work to be done here, right? So we spend many hours understanding what are the focus, the research objectives, the strategic objectives that we want to reach. What actions, what is the actionable plan that is needed to reach and satisfy an objective, and to what degree? So we do have the person months provided by this project. But what happens after the project ends? Are people going to get together with the same frequency and do the same amount of work? Probably not. So the idea here is to manage to automate some tasks to keep this alive. And therefore, we had this initial idea when we were writing the proposal, and we're still refining, although we have already a working platform, on digitalizing this creation of the strategy and the plans, and also maintaining them. Okay, of course, we created, and it's not going to change much, but maintaining, gathering the new projects that are coming, getting new partners into this new consortium that doesn't have funding behind it anymore. How do you keep them together? The idea here is to digitalize this whole process and create a digital hub that is the mirror of our hub, our SeaTecHub. It's going to be the digital twin, let's say, of this effort. So you will see, for example, an example of how would this play out with digitalization. The next objective is to perform joint research and innovation work. And as I explained, of course, it's some work that we would like to have anyway, but it shouldn't be for the sake of the research and innovation work. It should be to validate the strategy and action investment plans, so they really work. And here is also the technological output. And of course, through all this, through the staff exchanges that are allowed by the funding of this project, the innovation training sessions, we had a lot of knowledge transfer. That's the third objective. And the visibility is through conferences, workshops, summer schools, and you will see later a lot of detail on that. So let's go a little bit deeper on the project objective one. We have mentioned the three aspects of this one. So we have created a vision statement. So we are in line basically with the principles of the blue economy. This is a very broad vision, gathering together the quadruple helix in Cyprus and Croatia. So the idea here is to, since we are in the widening region, we want to, of course, boost the resilience and competitiveness of the blue economy, but also link a little bit better academia, business, and this is a global problem, linking academia, business, government, society, but finding the ways to do so within the specific characteristics of Cyprus and Croatia. And it takes a lot of understanding to do that. The more we spend time together, it's hard to understand between two Cypriot academic two entities, that one is academic, the other is business. We don't talk the same language, okay? And then you go to another country. You literally don't talk the same language, you have a different culture, and you try to understand. So you have to spend time together, and you have to do the right things. You have to do the right activities, the exchanges. So having one of our people, a young, new employee, a researcher going to Croatia for 2 months, what an opportunity. They go there to the relevant industry, they learn, They both get the industrial knowledge, but they understand also the culture and how to speak the language. Then they become ambassadors forever, and they connect the ecosystems. So facilitate the long-term cross-border international collaboration. So all of these things are basically helping to create long-term lasting bonds. So these are the strategic objectives. How do I accomplish that? We have to get a little bit more detailed. And of course, it depends on the sector. And we're giving an example here of aquaculture and fisheries. What is needed there? We have created, of course, we have conducted extensive stakeholder engagement. And this, of course, was something very new. We sat down with people in Cyprus and Croatia, related somehow, one way or another, to aquaculture and fisheries. Policymakers, industry people, and so on. So what is needed there? It's a common major component in the blue economy of Cyprus and Croatia, but it has a lot of challenges. For example, what do we need? And definitely we need facilities where we can do more research. Perhaps we can have the industry open up their facilities so that we can install our IoTs, our sensors, in order to get more data and to help them understand what is happening and how to optimize their yield, but also understand the impact of the marine environment, and then go out there and promote and help people understand that, this is the impact of aquaculture on the marine environment, and this is how it becomes sustainable, and this is why it's a good thing eventually. Not to prove that it's a good thing, but of course it happens to be a good thing, but some people have misconceptions. I'm just saying an example here. So by providing the data and a scientific-based method to evaluate and assess the impact, then you can influence policymakers, but also the public to educate and help them understand. And of course, this helps both the growth in terms of technology and improvement in technology, but also, of course, the growth of this sector, the strategy, the sustainable growth of this sector. This is always the most important thing. The same thing and similar really orientations apply in everything. So smart ports, also understanding what is the state that we are. Are there any international technologies that we should be adapting? How are ports evolving? What are the latest restrictions that we are facing? Things are becoming interconnected. There are disruptions. How do we deal with that? And what technologies can help? The industry definitely would like to hear from us, and through many projects we are working with the industry in order to install more and more sensors and help towards the creation of smart ports. Similarly, you can think of all the other sectors that we are working on. So not to dwell too much on each of them. Of course, you can ask specific questions on what we do on each of these sectors. But the other aspect is, after you deal with a broad strategy and you set the orientation, you have to actually go from point A to point B. So the action plan, and I will show you an example of that, is to provide some solid steps on how to achieve some strategic priorities that are part of the broader strategic overarching orientations. So what actions are to be taken? Some of these actions appear to be very intuitive, yes, but unless somebody sits down and writes them down and then reflects on them and then tries to implement a project based on them, then you cannot validate them, and you see, miss an important step. So somebody needs to create a very nice roadmap on how do you get from point A to point B, and also provide solid example and to guide entire consortia in order to successfully put together proposals on things that matter, that satisfy strategic priorities, and of course convince this way the evaluators of these proposals that this proposal satisfies the needs that have been identified, for example, by the SeaTecHub project. So through the stakeholder engagement, we have found the priorities. Here is the way to do it. So make sure when you write the next proposal to show that this is evidence-based. This is what we need to be doing, and this is what the funding is for. This is how the taxpayers' money is going to return an investment to the country and to Europe and all the participating countries also. And the investment plan, of course, we try to demystify this one. Things, terminologies that are available to people who study finance, for example. We have tried ourselves as being, myself, at least from an academic research background, to understand a little bit and to show, these are the opportunities out there. There is different kinds of funds, you apply to them in a different way, and so on. So anybody can come to us and ask us questions, but as you will see later, we won't be able to work as consultants. That's why we create this digital tool where we put the information and present it in a nice way so that somebody can leverage on these opportunities provided by AI to get the correct answers without being themselves experts in prompt engineering. So that takes me to the digital twin. So what we came up with is a collaborative research innovation platform. And I would be very eager when it's actually up and running at a demo level, of course, by the end of this project. And even sooner if we manage to get to that very soon, for other projects such as yours to try it out and to give us some feedback. And even adapt it, of course, it's going to take some work, but even adapt it if you are interested in that. So what is happening with this joint work that we have here as Excellence Hubs, maybe this platform and maybe other platforms that we are working on, we can talk, have a parallel, discussion on this with those interested and create a digital twin that could serve any ecosystem. Who knows? Sounds big, but AI surprises us every day. So the idea here is to have something similar to what you see in ChatGPT on conversational systems, but it's going to be something more enhanced and more specific. It's going to have already information from many partners in Cyprus and Croatia. It's going to have more information from things that you find on the internet, and you will be able to chat with this system, and it's going to recommend more specifically that the generic ChatGPT would do. For example, it would recommend that in order to build this small autonomous vehicle, you need to talk to these organizations in Croatia and this organization in Cyprus. Would you like me to connect you? You just press a button, you get connected, and you start a common conversation. It facilitates things, for example, and then it facilitates the creation of even concept notes and proposals in a way that AI does. But it's more specific and easier to use, even for those who are not familiar with these new tools. So it has some features. I'm not going to take too long talking on this. And a lot of benefits. The idea is to save time and cost, accelerate the research and innovation work. And the most important thing after this project is done, to keep connecting us and use all the benefits, all the connections that we have made, and also expand the network. So for joining innovation work, I will show you what we are doing. Apologies for my voice today. It's been going on for a while. But now it's better. And the idea here is that we're building some innovative software and hardware tools, and basically cyber-physical systems that are both software and hardware. But this marine spatial planning tool is very important because both Croatia and Cyprus are lagging in their MSP planning. Both were late, now catching up, of course. And the idea here is that we are facing a very complex problem. The marine spatial planning problem is a very complex optimization problem because you are dealing with many inputs and many conflicting sectors that are struggling to get a piece of the sea, basically, right? So you cannot have aquaculture very close to tourist sites or on shipping lanes and so on. But you would like ideally to have as many aquaculture areas as possible. So this MSP tool, if given the right input in terms of sea depths, sea currents, existing shipping routes that cannot be changed, even opinions of people which are a little bit softer and needs to be quantified and and placed there to contribute to the decision making. This tool basically takes all that input and runs an optimization algorithm and creates a special plan. It actually takes the map and creates the polygons in the sea and says, these are very nice positions for aquaculture. These are rejected because they're on shipping routes. They do have the right depth, but they cannot be there. But however, these are very nice areas where you could propose to be official aquaculture areas. They don't interact with local communities. Nobody has a problem with them. They don't, affect tourism and so on. So it identifies some of these areas. And in a project, we had another project, we did identify some areas that made it into the National Marine Special Plan of Cyprus when we proposed it after we used this tool. Now what we are doing with this tool, we're transferring this knowledge to the Croatian partners where they're applying it also in the Adriatic. And here you see just an example of that. Not going to do too many details, but the other things that we have, especially given to us by our Croatian partners, is to create smart buoys and a planktoscope that is automated. I'm going a little bit faster because we're running out of time, but I will show you the main idea of what we are doing. So the idea is to create low cost and configurable and modular buoys that are able to be used by anyone, replacing sensors, replacing batteries, and having all the telecommunications ready, and you just change, the sensors. And then you can take those buoys and place it in various locations because they're low cost, easy mooring, and any kind of sensor that you would like to plant. So the idea is here that the Croatian partners are making one. They're going to bring one to our Breaking the Surface conference that's going to be in Cyprus this year, and I'm going to refer to it very soon. And also, this will be part of our maritime digitalization research infrastructure that we have in Cyprus, having a lot of sensors available for open access. The planktoscope, of course, you will see here is that it's a device that pumps water and also with an optical sensor takes the pictures, but also we have a classification method, an AI method, classifying the different organisms in the sea. So you understand here that things that could, you had to take samples and to take to the lab, you analyze it with a microscope and so on. Now it can be done with this device automatically at sea. And this can be on a moving marine vessel, maybe on an uncrewed vessel. And it can monitor pollution levels and anything that the marine biologists are more familiar with. So it's really these are innovative technologies. And you can see some more images of what we are doing. And of course, we're planning some scenarios that we will take these technologies and validate them. Of course, this is not part of the project, of the scope, but because we have other projects, as I said before, the maritime digitalization research infrastructure, those have pilots. And we're going to take those devices, this proof of concept, we're going to put them into the pilots. So this SeaTecHub project, we take the pre-plans and we're already, with additional funding that we did secure with our Croatian partners, we will convert them into actual pilots and demonstrators. So we do a lot of mutual learning and skills development. And here I will show you, of course, I spoke already about the importance, but I will show you a few numbers and a few pictures without spending too much time. I believe that we are running out of time also, right? So I will be ending with that very soon. Innovation trainings, a lot of trainings by the industry. We got a lot of very good information, things that we didn't realize, we didn't know. mutual staff exchanges, especially long-term, that were very beneficial, and many activities engaging the citizens, blue cafes and so on. So quite some numbers here. People having a good time while being very educational and very reinforcing the connections. And raising the visibility and outreach, of course, we participate in conferences. We pay a lot of attention in social media. We talk about the collaboration and the hub wherever we go. We have been across the world. And we are clustering also with a lot of relevant activities. And definitely this today is an opportunity to reach out to you all and, of course, invite you for collaboration. Also, I would like to emphasize and keep on the screen a little bit here this slide. Feel free to scan the QR code and make a note of this event. If you can still manage to fly to Cyprus and make it, this is a Breaking the Surface workshop. This was initiated many years ago, of course, from our Croatian partners, and now they are giving us the opportunity to host it in Cyprus. We're very proud of it. We're trying to do our best keeping up with what they have been doing in all these years, but of course they're helping us organize it, of course, and giving us all the templates and all the things that we should be doing. But it's going to happen now in November, very soon. The weather is great in Cyprus, as we have been discussing before. Feel free to join us. It's going to be great. It's going to be international. You're going to see here marine vehicles, a lot of exciting talks. And it's quite multidisciplinary, actually. It has a lot of focus on marine robotics, but applications. And we have a lot of people that are coming outside the technology sector, speaking about the problems that they are facing and the solutions that they would like to see. So feel free to come and join us on this one. And with this, I'd like to thank you, and we are very open to your questions.
Thank you very much for the presentations. So any question? Yes, Mr. Derek, please.
Okay, so thank you very, very much for the presentation. So I'm Derek Baker. I'm coordinating your sister Solar Hub project, Excellence Hub. And so some things that I just kind of noted that I thought were really nice was the way that you're trying to include you and the Cypriot and Croatian partners on proposals together. I think this is a really, really nice way to sustain this. So I can say that we as Solar Hub, as well as I think a lot of other Excellence Hub projects, are facing the same academic business relation challenges. We talk a lot about this. How do we somehow do a better job talking with each other? The engagement numbers you presented are really, really nice, the outreach to the different groups. And so the digital twin idea, I want to ask a question about this. This is really, really interesting because we're just about to complete year 3 of our 4-year project. We talk a lot about what exists the day after our project ends. We're doing a lot of work to sustain this. And so for the digital twin, as you said, this becomes like an online platform. And so I'm assuming that you feed it data and it becomes, I'm not too fluent with AI, and so excuse me if I don't characterize this correctly, but basically you go to the platform and you can type in questions and queries, and this will help to link you up with other partners from Croatia and from Cyprus and maybe identify calls. Is this kind of the extent of what this tool will do?
Yes. One of the things would be this one. Yes, indeed. So basically, if you go now to ChatGPT and give it some information, and if you know how to write the prompt, which is prompt engineering is a whole new art these days. And not everybody is skilled on that. You have to spend a lot of time, and of course, you have to learn how to do that to some degree. So you will even now be able to ask the question of what would be the most relevant call, EU call for that, and who would be the partners. But you will see from the output that you have to struggle a lot and converse for a very long time until you get exactly what you want. And many of the partners, you don't know them. You have to, after that, send them an email. You seem to be ideal, but okay, I don't know you, and then you don't get an answer. But now we have this core collaboration together. Many of the partners already know each other. And then when we create a platform, this platform is going to reach out already to the rest of the missing partners in Croatia and Cyprus. And already they're going to know they're going to be part of a hub without doing much effort. A lot of information is going to be scrapped from their website. So, for example, we're going to have a database, think of it like this, that is going to have already all the relevant information for these two ecosystems. In your case, it will be all the relevant information, all the outcomes of the project that you have, to have it right there on a database already. So you don't have to explain to the AI again from the beginning every time that you have this project, these are the outcomes, and it has to continue like that. And now find me the most relevant call. Now it's going to have all this information already. You're going to have your own database with all the information that you know, and the AI will know the same information. And now the AI will start checking. These few EU calls are relevant. There are also some partners, if this information is out there, and sometimes it is, are looking for partners already. These partners you have collaborated with, so you can contact them easily. These other ones, are connected to some other partners in another consortium. Maybe you can reach out to them through them. It's going to give you this very specific information. It's going to be an enhancement of what you would do, with all your knowledge that you have and the experience that you have in writing proposals. And then when you do all that, there's a lot of concern these days that the AI wrote the essay, is not as good. But if you know what you are doing, and if you are a good proposal writer yourself, you're going to have it, write something, a concept note, and then you're going to check it and give some feedback. And it's going to accelerate your work. So it's a good thing. Many people are worried about AI and superintelligence. I always, who would be able to build a house or a skyscraper with their hands? We use machines which are obviously stronger than us, but we use them correctly. Now we have an AI that is smarter than us. No, it has just more computational capacity than our brains can handle. They're a tool. This is a tool. So we're basically taking that tool and shaping it in a way to help us. So I don't know if I answered the whole question, but it's possible, yes, to keep all the knowledge that you have so far and the outcomes of the project in the database, put on the database already what you would like to achieve, and then it's going to be this automated work that you would do, searching the internet, contacting people, drafting emails and sending them. This can be done automatically by pressing a button, yes, contact this organization, and they get a notification on their side. They said, yes, okay. After that, you take it over from there and talk.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I have a few other questions, but I will wait and see if other people have questions. If there's time, I will ask some other questions, but thank you very much. Also, I unmuted and allow everyone to turn on their cameras. And so during the question and answer, if you would like to ask questions orally and show your face, you should be able to do that now.
We have one question. Will it be possible to rate the other partners?
Okay. I haven't thought of it actually, to rate the other partners. I would be a little bit concerned. That's the first reaction. I mean, say, for example, as always, it happens. In some projects, you have some partners having some dispute. For example, I had the experience where you had two partners in a project, and they had a dispute in another project. And we were trying to keep it, this is another project, you don't have this dispute here, you're different. So these opinions, like rating a merchant when you buy something and all that, is always subjective. Like you have to have enough reviews. You have to have so it's really hard to know that to have this in writing and have it part of the AI that is going to say, you know, somebody said something bad about this, but saying good things. Again, this is also biased, right? Saying something good. Some people have very good experience with some maybe not so good. So I don't know the answer to this, but I wouldn't implement it right now unless I fully investigate the implications.
Okay, thank you.
I'll be happy to hear more about this idea of how it is thought, but really something I would be thinking later also myself. And others, of course, can express their opinion on this because it's very intriguing to me also.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Fabio. Wait a minute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Thank you for this really interesting presentation, and congratulations for the results of this project. Very interesting. This is Fabio from Dan Europe. I represent SeaTecHub's, that is another Excellence Hub project. The coordinator is in Greece, and we have a free hub, Greece, Maltese, and Bulgarian, and we are focused on cultural heritage underwater. So we are implemented several technologies underwater. So there is a very interesting connection between the two projects. So first of all, it's not a question, it's a congratulation. And I think that we can maybe create a specific workshop for the two projects in order to present a connection of our technology and your technology. For example, we are developing, we as Dan Europe are developing the real monitoring system for the physiological data of the divers during the mission underwater, and there are several other technologies that we can connect together. So probably I will contact you directly, and maybe we can have a specific workshop on understanding how we can merge this technology, how we can disseminate and create this cooperation in the joint strategy.
That would be amazing. Thank you for this. And we make a note also to contact you and bring with us in this meeting our Marine Cultural Heritage Center at CMMI, and also our Croatian partners who created this buoy. And the last time it was presented, they did mention that this is ideal for monitoring cultural heritage sites. It's low cost, it's low footprint, and you can put any kind of sensor. You can monitor, you know, theft, even pollution, whatever it is. Perfect.
I
Yes.
think
So
there are very lot of interaction. So probably I will contact you directly in order to understand if we can create something specific about to merge and to understand. And probably we can going. We are at the third year. The last year we are going to organize our second international conference. Probably we can invite you to present an abstract to this second international conference that will be held end of 2026 in Bulgaria.
Perfect. That sounds perfect.
Thanks.
You very much.
Thank you. Any other question? No. Okay, Derek.
So I don't want to dominate all the questions, but I'll go ahead and ask another question that I like. Yes, it's a good opportunity for me to learn. And so what do you see as like the biggest lessons learned and challenges, or maybe put a different way, with the benefit of hindsight, what would you have done differently? And so as we've just gone through kind of our third year, we've done a lot of assessment about how we're going to close the project. We found a lot of things in our project we wish that we had done a little bit differently, opportunities to do it better. And so, yeah, what do you see as the biggest challenges and things you would have done differently?
Yes, yes. Indeed, the challenges, I mean, all the partners were excellent and very willing to do the maximum they could. But I have to admit, when we were writing the proposal, it was written by core partners coming from, academia and, we did face some challenges, and they ended up being very positive. Actually, we found a positive outcome. But on the other hand, there are some things that I could have done different, but indeed they were minor. And I will explain what these are. For example, we have planned long-term staff exchanges between industry and academia. And then we realized down the road that, okay, the industry people are working on something very specific. They have to meet their targets. They have to bring in money. They cannot spend 2 months with someone. It's not very practical, okay? Coming from the academia, showing them every day, new technologies, new possibilities. They want something now, okay? So they were willing, and it's very reasonable that they did, to learn about the new technologies, and we did have some great ideas and understanding. We did learn from them what are the immediate needs that we should really prioritize, and when. It would be very appealing to them if we bring them a working prototype, at which stage it should be. And learn, for example, that, if you want to create something new that is down the road 5 years, that's fine, but you have to anticipate what are the new regulations going to be for the shipping industry down the road 5 years, which some of them are anticipated. So if you start working now and you have in 5 years, that's great. You predicted it, but you need to have it ready when the regulation comes. You cannot be brainstorming when a new regulation comes. So this was a very, very good lesson learned. And what we did is, in terms of instead of having these long-term staff exchanges and expecting the industry to spend too much time with us, we managed to do this long-term staff exchange. But for example, a university professor from Zagreb came for a long time to CMMI instead, and that was fine. And also they visited the company. And the other thing that, again, we knew that it's going to kind of be a problem, but we tried to push for it, is that to have governmental departments visiting each other for 2 weeks. That proved to be impossible, especially when one governmental department, suddenly one person left, one person stayed back, and they had to do everything. Okay, what to do? And then we looked at the proposal and we asked the project officer, is that okay to break it into smaller parts and to have this international travel and meetings and still check that box, but not at the exact month, the exact duration and all that, but still have this useful exchange. And it was fine. This was okay. But it was a little bit stressful when we talked to the governmental department. Can you go for 2 weeks? So we could have avoided that by just putting a more realistic thing. But things like sending our own researcher for 2 months in Zagreb, perfect. He would stay even for a year if it was possible. No problem there. So these are the things that we found to be done differently. Other than that, I don't think, I wish I could identify more problems because I feel I'm missing something and I would like to learn from you maybe. So maybe I'm not seeing something else, but overall, I'm quite happy about how things turned out and how we did plan things and they turned out, yeah.
Okay, thanks. I actually see a lot of our own challenges are kind of very similar to what you're facing. And so it's good to see that we're not alone and face these challenges. So thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all the great questions and the connections.
Any other question? No. Okay. As we already had the online meeting, I don't have any question for you, Mr. Kyriak. Kyriakidis. It's hard to pronounce. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Then, thank you. Anyone? No.
Yes, I would just like to announce, so on the 7th of February, we have the next webinar, and this will be Enothyrogen, Innovating Thyroid Health with Genomics and Predictive Algorithms Through Collaborative Excellence. And so again, Friday, the 7th of November, from 10 to 11 Central European time. And so I will be announcing this formally, hopefully later this week, through the channels, including through LinkedIn and through the website. And so I'm happy to see, I think it was the SeaTecHub's, Fabio. And so it's nice to see the connection. And so this is one of the reasons why I want to do this, is to try to catalyze these connections between the different Excellence Hub projects. And so to me, this is a really, really nice outcome. I would like to thank everyone for joining. And again, hope to see you in about 17 days for the next webinar. So thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.